Ever met someone so unique you couldn't look away? Our world is packed with the strange, the extraordinary, and the downright unimaginable, and no matter how much you've seen, there's always more out there ready to shock you. From albino twin sisters to another who plays games without any hands, these are 15 of the most unique and unusual people ever to walk the earth. Number 15. Denzel Sigers. For Denzel, finally joining the 6-foot club changed everything about how he moves through the world. "Life just feels different now that I'm taller," he said. "People smile at me everywhere I go. I've never had reactions like this, and honestly, I'm enjoying it." Denzel, a 29-year-old from Atlanta, spent around $100,000 on limb lengthening surgery to grow from 5 feet, 5 inches to 6 feet. Well, the procedure is brutal. We mean surgeons cut into both thigh bones and place adjustable rods inside. Recovery takes months, and walking normally again can take a year. "I wouldn't recommend it lightly," he admitted. "It takes real mental strength. There were nights I wanted to quit, so you need to come into this prepared." Now healed, he's stepping into his first date since the surgery. He's excited, maybe even nervous, to see how people respond to this new version of himself. "I'm figuring out who I am now," he said. "I want to see how he shows up in the world." Number 14. The albino twins. Twin sisters Megan and Michaela were both born with albinism, which affects the pigmentation of the skin, hair, and eyes. While albinism itself is uncommon, the odds of identical twins both being born with it are about 1 in 2 million. Because of their condition, both sisters have visual impairments, so they keep their shared apartment carefully organized. Sunlight is harsh on their skin, so they're supposed to wear full protective clothing. Though Megan jokingly admits, "We're meant to, but we don't always." Their appearance has brought painful challenges. People once accused their mother of cheating because the girls didn't resemble their family. Now, as adults, they still deal with strangers staring, often saying it feels like they're in a zoo. Dating hasn't been easy either. Megan's in a relationship, but Michaela struggles with anxiety about how others will react. Still, with family by her side and a blind date lined up, she's ready to take a chance. Number 13. Rocky. At 19, Rocky's life changed in an instant. A wrestling mishap at a party left him paralyzed from the neck down. He lost nearly everything: his jobs, his friends, and his spot as hockey captain. But Rocky wasn't done. Over time, he built a new life, new pals, a new love, and a new future. Using a special device called a quad stick, he began gaming online with only his mouth. Today, he's known as Rocky No Hands, a successful streamer with thousands of fans. In 2017, he met Jacqueline on Twitch. A random dare led him to ask her to play Fortnite, and she said yes. They fell in love, long distance at first, until COVID separated them for 2 years. Eventually, she moved from Australia to Michigan to be with him. But online judgment followed. People called her a gold digger, accused her of seeking attention. Rocky brushes it off. "If they're gonna talk," he says, "let 'em talk." All that matters to them is each other, and building a life their way. Number 12. Sivan and Tori. Sivan and Tori weren't sure they could have children naturally. After years of trying, they were stunned and overjoyed when Sivan became pregnant with their son, Prophet. 6 months after his birth, they conceived again, this time with their daughter, Winter. Sivan, a trans man, carried both pregnancies. Tori, also trans, began her own transition in her teens. For Sivan, being a pregnant man wasn't easy. He faced stares, doubts, and outright judgment, especially at doctor's appointments. "You sit in a room full of women, and you feel like you don't belong," he said. People accused them of faking, dismissed them as parents. Tori was told she'd never truly be a mother, but they kept going. Our kids are going to be successful because we are, Tori said. They're asking for more support for trans parents, not sympathy, just space to exist and raise their family. Their message? If you want a family, go for it. Don't wait for permission. Number 11, the reborn doll family. Christina and Bill have 6 kids, but 4 of them aren't alive. After suffering multiple miscarriages, the couple began collecting reborn dolls, hyper-realistic replicas made to resemble newborn babies. The dolls became a source of comfort, something that helped them heal emotionally. But the internet hasn't always been kind. They're often accused of ignoring their real children or using the dolls to escape reality. The criticism can be harsh, but Christina and Bill stand firmly by their little family. Truly revisited them to talk through some of the messages they've received, comments calling them unstable, irresponsible, or unfit parents. They've heard it all. Still, the dolls bring them peace, and they hope to normalize the idea that comfort looks different for everyone. Their children understand it, their home is loving, and that's what matters to them. People don't need to understand, Christina said. They just need to stop assuming the worst. Number 10. Caroline. Caroline, 26, doesn't have the luxury of variety. She lives on just 2 foods, oats and baby formula. It all started at age 2, when a simple cracker caused her first anaphylactic reaction. Over the years, she faced dozens more. Eventually, she was diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome, a condition where nearly anything, food, pets, even pollen, can trigger a dangerous allergic reaction. At 19, another severe episode left her unable to eat anything but her current, very limited diet. At first, she was miserable. Eating became a chore, not a joy. But she started posting on TikTok, using humor to explain her condition, and something shifted. People responded with kindness, ideas, and recipe suggestions. Slowly, she found a way to enjoy food again. The judgment hasn't disappeared. Some accuse her of faking it, but with her mom, Julie's constant support, she keeps moving forward. I'm so proud of her, Julie says. And Caroline? She's determined to raise awareness, live gratefully, and find light wherever she can. Number 9. Karine de Sousa. Karine has spent her entire life in the shadows of sunlight. Born with xeroderma pigmentosum, even brief exposure to UV rays can lead to skin cancer. Since childhood, she's undergone 219 surgeries to remove lesions. Despite that, Karine built a life full of purpose. When she and her husband Edmilson announced her pregnancy, the internet split in 2. Critics called her irresponsible. Some said she'd scare her child, but Karine held firm. Doctors said the odds of her daughter Zaya having the condition were less than 1%. Strangers stared when they stepped outside, but Karine never let it sink in. I don't take it in, she said simply. Her focus remained on her daughter and the life they were creating together. Zaya is lucky, Edmilson said, to have a mom who's brave and full of fight. To them, this wasn't recklessness. It was hope. Number 8. The Rihanna double. Rose Cohen was born in Brazil but now lives in Spain, and her resemblance to Rihanna is so striking that people often stop her in the street. Well, she never ever planned on becoming an impersonator. Friends first suggested it, but Rose laughed it off, convinced she could never dance or perform like the superstar she adored. Everything changed when an agency reached out and offered her a chance. What started as a hesitant experiment turned into a 10-year career. Rose now tours internationally, performing tribute shows that honor the singer she's admired her entire life. For her, it isn't just a job, it's a way of paying respect to the artist who helped shape her confidence. Being compared to a global icon isn't always easy, but Rose carries it with pride. My biggest dream, she said, is to meet Rihanna someday. Until then, She pours her heart into every performance, grateful for a path she never expected. She is unique. Number 7. Nikki Freeman. At first sight, people assume he's a kid. His face, his size, none of it says middle-aged. But Nikki is in his 40s. A fusion of hydrocephalus and pituitary complications has slowed nearly every part of his development: his bones, speech, and how he moves. Doctors never expected him to live long. Yet he did. He never talked or walked like other kids, but he knows everything. He responds with his eyes, his gestures, his laughter. His bones grow at a fraction of the usual pace. At 16, X-rays showed the skeleton of a toddler. But life never stopped for him. He loves horse rides, long drives, a good laugh. His parents never treated him like a diagnosis. He was always just their son. No one can fully explain his condition. But one thing is certain: Nikki isn't behind, and he isn't stuck. He's just on a different timeline, and it works just fine for him. Number 6. Andriati Putra. In Indonesia, 34-year-old Andriati Putra lives with a weight few can imagine: nearly 30 kilograms of tumors growing across his body. Neurofibromatosis has shaped his life in the cruelest ways, turning everyday movements into painful challenges. Some of the tumors are so large they press on his chest and spine. He can't work. Walking is painful. Breathing at times feels like a chore. His parents can't afford the complex treatment he needs, and surgeries would demand massive resources. "Sometimes I thought of ending it," he said quietly. "But now, I think maybe it's a test from God." He finds small comforts: his phone, quiet afternoons, moments when pain fades a little. His father, Ismed, does what he can. "We can't fix it," he said, "but we're here with him." Andriati holds on to hope, not for miracles, but for peace. "Maybe this is a gift from God," he whispered. "All I want is to stay strong for my beautiful family." Number 5. Jalissa Austin and Chastity Young. Jalissa is 31, from Houston, and was born without arms, without knees, and with only 7 toes. She stands just 3 feet 4 inches tall. Chastity is 32, from Dallas, and was born with tetra amelia syndrome, meaning she has no hands and severely shortened legs. For a long time, both women felt completely alone, until one day, Chastity saw Jalissa on TV. That moment sparked a connection that grew into a powerful friendship. When they met, it wasn't just about shared struggles. It was about finally being understood. They've cried together, laughed together, and found the kind of bond most people search for their whole lives. Both use their feet for everyday things: texting, doing makeup, cooking. They've been stared at, judged, and underestimated, but they live boldly and without apology. "We're just doing life," Jalissa says, as she plans her wedding. "We're not broken." Chastity agrees totally. "I've made it from A to Z." And they did. Number 4. Young May. In the early 90s, Young May figured out a bizarre but profitable loophole: marriage. Not for love, but for money. Starting in 1993, she began marrying men, usually poor farmers, and then divorcing them shortly after. Each man paid a small divorce fee, which Young May pocketed. One by one, the marriages added up. Over 2 decades, she married over 900 times, making roughly $8,000 a month, more than most people in her village would see in a year. Young May had no formal education, no steady job, and no fear of breaking the system. For years, she moved from town to town, husband to husband, always one step ahead. But in 2011, her run ended. She was arrested and sentenced to 4 years in prison, though it's unclear how much time she actually served. While her name might not be in every history book, she stands out as one of the strangest con artists ever recorded, a woman who turned vows into a business model. Number 3. Tim Mason. Tim was born in Moscow, missing both legs and one arm, the effects of radiation his mother was exposed to during the 1986 Chernobyl disaster. Left in an orphanage, he was labeled unadoptable. But at age 3, a woman named Virginia Mason brought him home to the U.S. and gave him a second chance. Today, he lives in Connecticut and goes by One Limb Tim online. He gave up prosthetics years ago. They never felt like a part of him, and chose to embrace life on his own terms. Tim trains daily and dropped 18 kilograms in 2021. He shares his fitness routines, daily life, and answers even the most personal questions. No topic is off limits. Online trolls still show up, but he's unfazed. He's already faced more doubt than most people ever will. What keeps him going is simple: movement, laughter, and knowing he's stronger than the world expected. He doesn't aim to inspire, he just lives, and in doing that, he inspires anyway. Number 2. Frank Williams. On October 13, 1899, a man named Frank Williams was working along a railroad in North Carolina when he slipped between the rails and got stuck. Before he could pull himself free, a train barreled down the tracks, straight over him. Somehow, unbelievably, Frank survived. The train passed above without touching him. He was shaken, bruised, but completely intact. The incident made national headlines, and soon Frank was known as the man who survived being buried alive. He leaned into the fame, touring the country and speaking about his experience. He even published a book called Buried Alive, A Tale of Terror, recounting every moment of the terrifying ordeal. His story might sound impossible, but it's a real reminder of how resilient and lucky the human body can be. While many have been buried by tragedy, very few have lived to climb out of it. Frank didn't just survive a train. He turned a freak accident into a story that would outlive him. Number 1. Joy and Joyce Mazzino. Doctors weren't sure they'd make it past their first birthday. The Mazzino twins were born with craniopagus twinning, a rare condition where their skulls are fused, happening in roughly 1 out of every 2.5 million births. But Joy and Joyce, from Lucena City, have been proving people wrong since day one. In 2023, a video of them walking at their elementary graduation alongside their mom made waves online, not out of pity, but admiration. On TikTok, they've gathered over 200,000 followers by sharing everyday moments that most people could never imagine. They've spoken openly about wanting separation surgery, not because they're unhappy, but because they're curious about living as individuals. The surgery would cost over $75,000 and carries heavy risks. Still, they remain hopeful. Their journey has been featured on Born Different, but they've never chased sympathy. Their lives are shaped by love, strength, and an unshakable bond. Not filters, and definitely not fake inspiration. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon in the next one.